Hey, have you ever really looked at the shirt you're wearing and wondered, what is this actually made of? We're surrounded by fabrics all day, every day, but there's a fascinating secret hidden inside their threads. So let's dive in and unravel the story of your shirt. Our story starts somewhere that looks a lot like this. A cloth shop, just overflowing with variety. It actually reminds me of a story from our source material about two students, Paheli and Bujo. They went to a shop just like this and were completely blown away by all the different kinds of cloth. Cottons, silks, wools, synthetics, you name it. And that experience left them with a really big question, a question we're going to dig into today. I mean, seriously, if you look at the clothes you're wearing right now, what are you actually seeing? What is fabric? At first, from a distance, it just looks like a solid piece of material, right? A single flat surface. But you know what? That's kind of an illusion. Let's zoom in a little closer. And here is our very first clue. I'm sure you've done this before without even thinking about it. You snag a sweater, or you see a loose thread on a hem, and you pull it. Well, that thing you're pulling isn't just a thread. It has a specific name. It's called a yarn. So get this, fabric isn't one solid thing at all. It's actually a whole structure, built from these individual yarns all woven or knitted together. Think of it like we've just peeled back the first layer of a mystery. But of course, we're not going to stop there. If fabric is made of yarn, that just begs the next question. What in the world is the yarn made of? We have to go deeper. So if you take one of those yarns and you start to untwist it, something really cool happens. It begins to fray and split apart into even thinner, tinier strands. You've definitely seen this if you've ever tried to thread a needle, and the end just turns into this fuzzy little mess. And those tiny hair-like strands, that's it. That's the big secret. We've hit the bedrock, the fundamental building block of all textiles. They are called fibers, and they're the start of everything we wear. So a fiber is the smallest possible unit. It's the basic raw material that, once you process it, eventually becomes the clothes on your back. It all starts right here, with these incredibly fine little strands. And this lays it all out perfectly. You start with the absolute tiniest building blocks, the fibers. You twist a whole bunch of those together, and you get a strong, continuous yarn. And finally, you weave or knit all those yarns together, and you get your finished fabric. Fibers to yarn to fabric. Simple as that. Okay, so we've basically taken our clothes apart all the way down to their most basic component. But this just opens up a brand new question. Where do we even get these fibers from in the first place? Well, they come from two main sources. First, you've got natural fibers. As the name suggests, this is stuff we get from nature, from plants like cotton and jute, or from animals, which give us wool and silk. For thousands of years, this was all we had. But more recently, we figured out how to make our own. These are synthetic fibers, made from chemical substances. Think polyester, nylon, and acrylic, all that stretchy, water-resistant stuff. To really see how this works in the real world, let's follow the journey of one of the most common plant fibers on the entire planet, good old cotton. The story of your favorite t-shirt starts right here, in a field that looks like it's been covered in little puffs of snow. Cotton plants can be a little picky. They need just the right conditions, like a warm climate and something called black soil, to really grow well. So the plant grows these fruits, which are about the size of a lemon, and they're called cotton bolls. When they mature, they burst open, and inside you see the seeds, completely surrounded by those soft white cotton fibers. That's the good stuff we're after. But here's the thing. You can't use the fibers when they're still stuck to the seeds. So the next critical step is to separate them. This process is called ginning. It used to be done by hand with a tool that looks kind of like a comb, but today, as you can probably guess, it's mostly done by huge machines. So now we have a big, fluffy pile of clean, raw cotton fibers. We've successfully taken the plant apart. Now it's time to rebuild, to turn this fluffy cloud back into a structured, usable thread. And that process is called spinning. This is where the magic happens. During spinning, the loose fibers are drawn out and twisted at the exact same time. It's that twisting action that locks all the individual fibers together, giving the new yarn its strength. For centuries, this was all done with simple hand-operated tools. A really famous example is the charka, or spinning wheel, which lets one person carefully twist fibers into yarn. And while today we have massive machines doing this on a huge scale, the basic principle is exactly the same. And that brings us full circle.
It all comes back to this one central idea. Fabrics are made of yarns, and yarns are made of fibers. It's the simple truth that holds together everything in your wardrobe.
So, the next time you pull on a t-shirt or a pair of jeans, just take a second to look closer. You're not just wearing a piece of fabric. You're wearing a story that started as a tiny, hair-like fiber, probably in a field far, far away. Now that you know the secret, what story do your clothes tell you?